Chubb gets up and hammers it home.
Luger bounces it inside to Mooney, who jams it home. To a cutting Jogo for the two-handed jam. It's to Fluger for the two-handed jam.
Swatted by Durham. Jams with two. Another rejection.
Hello again, Irish fans, and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Notre Dame Basketball with Mike Bray. I'm Jack Nolan, and Coach, you got another injury to deal with. You've been dealing with it for a while with Juwan Durham and his ankle, but now you've had to shut him down for 2 weeks.
Yeah, we want to get that ankle rested. It's not getting any better, so we'll revisit this in February. In the meantime, you know, it shortens our bench, and we felt we needed to activate Chris Doherty, who's given us good minutes off the bench in the last 2 games and must stay ready the rest of the season given Juwan's situation.
But with a very limited bench, you lose the leading shot blocker in the ACC, and a guy who does a lot more than that, but you were still able to take a ranked NC State team down to the wire here and a Georgia Tech team down to the wire at their place.
Yeah, you know, Jack, I love how we're fighting, and I love how we're in position. We're not able to make that last step to get over the hump to finish games against good teams, and just about everybody in this league is a good team, but we're going to keep working with them and keep growing these young guys because I think it's going to happen for us.
When we come back, we'll show you all the highlights of Notre Dame's battle with the Wolfpack of North Carolina State. Okay, so again, now you're adjusting to the loss of Juwan Durham. You tell the guys, you activate Chris Doherty, and then they come out, hit 3 of the first 4 shots against NC State. You had the lead for the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, Jack, I thought we got off to a great start. We were anxious to play back at home again. Our students were here. Our home crowd, again, has been so supportive of this group because they know we need them bad. And I thought I liked our offensive flow, really, in the first half.
And that flow, as you just mentioned, maintained itself for the entire first half. But after the quick start, you're just not making those open shots the way all of your past teams have.
Yeah, we have not been able to, you know, shoot it well enough to beat good teams in this league, and just about everybody in this league is a good team, everybody we've played to date. So we got to keep working on it. We got to get reps, and we got to get our young guys comfortable in, you know, stepping up and taking open shots because we can't turn those down.
DJ Harvey, 8 points in the first half, the most impressive of which was a spinning layup right behind you here on the floor that tied the game at 19.
You know, one thing DJ has done here at home is he's scored for us early in a game to kind of get us started. And one of the things we've tried to tell him to do is not just settle for jump shots. With his athletic ability, get to the basket. That was a heck of a move.
Nick Jogo gave you 10 solid minutes in this one. 4 first half points, had an assist and a rebound.
I think Nick is really trending up for us, and he does a lot of things. He can rebound the ball, he can drive the ball, and I think Nick's going to shoot it better now.
You shot just 37% in the first half, but you were down just 2 at halftime. In part, again, because of John Mooney, who's a machine. 10.7 rebounds in the half on the way to his 10th double-double, 19 points, 16 rebounds.
John Mooney is carrying us right now, Jack. It's really one of the great displays we've had here. And he doesn't get the recognition in our league because we've not won enough, and rightfully so. You got to win more. But what this young man is doing as a captain, and then how he's backing it up with his physical and relentless play, is kind of giving us a chance to win games in this league.
Now, you shot the ball better in the second half, 44%, in large part because of Dane Goodwin, who was spectacular. 17 of his career high, 19 points, hit 7 of his 9 shots in the half, including a couple of threes.
I thought a real coming out party for a freshman in league play. He had done some stuff in non-league, but he had yet to really break through in league play. And so we want to capitalize on that. And his offensive aggressiveness, which is something we've coached and I've been on him about, to be aggressive and to hunt his shot and his scoring. It can only help us.
Chris Doherty has only played 1 game on this floor, but he's already a fan favorite, and he should be. What a debut, really. 6 minutes. He didn't take a shot, but he grabbed 3 rebounds. He got a steal. He blocked a shot, and that blocked shot started a fast break for Dane Goodwin.
You know, he is going to be loved by this crowd, and now they're going to see him. We didn't know if they'd see him this year, but they're going to see him the rest of the season. Energy guy, dirty work guy, toughness guy, and you know what? His teammates love him. I think he gives us a shot in the arm when he plays.
Your team's struggling offensively, and usually that shows up on the defensive end, but it hasn't. You're defending really well. NC State came in as the best shooting team in the league just under 50%. You held them more than 6 percentage points below their average.
You know, the interesting thing about our team is, we're defending well enough to win. We are guarding people. What we did in Chapel Hill against a great offensive team in North Carolina, Georgia Tech, 63 points. We just can't generate enough offense to win in this league right now. So hopefully we can continue to defend and our offense will improve.
And you kept the NC State game close throughout the second half. They never got up by more than 6. You cut it to 1 twice, but you just couldn't get over the hump.
We had open looks to go up a couple times, and that's the last hurdle for this group. That is a big hurdle to get over. And all you can do is keep giving young guys confidence, tell them to take open shots, and let's keep playing.
So the Irish drop a tough one to 17th-ranked NC State, 77-73. So it was time to get back on the practice floor and head down to Atlanta for this year's first of 2 games with one of Notre Dame's annual repeat opponents, Georgia Tech. Those highlights coming up right after this. When the ACC made Georgia Tech one of your repeat opponents, a lot of folks said, well, how'd they come up with that? Notre Dame's already got great rivalries with Louisville and Syracuse and Pittsburgh, rivalries the fans loved, but this has turned into a heck of a rivalry.
Well, all the games have been close, there's no question about it, and we have not had much success in Atlanta one time, and just like all the games in Atlanta, it was another dogfight.
And they haven't had much success here. In fact, the only team to win a road game in ACC play in this series was you the year you won the ACC title.
That's right. We got it done down there, and but always they have been this year a great defensive group, which proved to be, tough for us to attack. But I thought we defended well enough. But again, you got to probably score more than 60, 61 to get out of there alive.
Well, you were worried about their big guys coming in, and with good reason. Banks and Guy hurt you early with 9 points. They jumped out to a 13-4 lead.
Yeah, they got out of the gate and were beating us up in the post a little. We adjusted. We played a little bit of zone. Nate Leshevsky off the bench gave us a great lift to kind of get us going a little bit. And you're having to play against that big, long zone. It's a little bit like playing against Syracuse. Your guards have to be really good with the ball and get touches. It's a lot of work offensively against their lengthy zone.
The resiliency of the team has been good because of everything that's happened. 13-4, and you're only getting a sense, is this going to be one of those nights? But you come right back with a 7-2 run. Your veterans, Mooney and Gibbs, hit a couple of field goals, but they sandwiched those around a big 3 by Nick Joga.
Yeah, Nick had a big one, and again, I think Nick is playing better for us, and we need him to play better for us, and he'll shoot better for us. The one thing he does do is defensive rebound, but yeah, that's the one thing I've loved about this group. They're very resilient. They take big punches. They just keep on playing, and we're right back into thing before half.
And you talked about Nate Leshevsky coming off the bench with a big lift. I'll say he scored 8 straight points for you later in the half to cut the Tech lead to 1.
Well, the one thing about him, he plays 30 minutes and he scores 19 points. And on my mind has been, how do we get him on the floor more? Because he can score for us. And that's the one thing we need right now.
John Mooney comes through again. He tied the game with buckets twice in the final minutes of the first half and then gave you the lead going into the locker room with a couple of free throws.
Yeah, he, again, no one in our league is playing better than Johnny Mooney. And I just need to keep him rested between games. I've got to keep him fresh because he is given everything he has physically and emotionally and leadership-wise.
He's been spectacular. He had a double-double in the first half alone against the very big Georgia Tech team, 14 points, 10 rebounds, finished with 22 and 14 for his 11th double-double of the season.
It's really one of the great stories in our league and in college basketball. Again, it's not getting the light because we're not winning enough. I hope we can change that so he can get some more recognition. I'll tell you one thing, though, the NBA people are noticing he is a stretch 4 man who can rebound, and he's got a very bright future.
The second half, both teams started off a little bit slow, but then it got going, and what a half it was. 7 lead changes and 3 ties.
You know, it was a great college basketball game. 2 teams going at it, dying for a league win. They're healthy. They got their guys back. Their main guys were back who were injured and were excited to play. And different guys for us making big plays and getting big rebounds, making big shots. And, again, I loved our fight. We just couldn't quite finish, and we couldn't score enough to escape on the road.
Talked about the lift that Nate Leshevsky gave you in the first half, even better in the second half. 11 of his career-high 19 points, and he broke out of what was a really tough 4-game shooting slump.
Yeah, it was was neat to see him get confident, especially on the road against a very good defensive team. You know, again, for these young guys, getting a feel of ACC-level basketball, I hope we can jumpstart him now.
And it wasn't just threes. He made a couple of really good moves inside.
Good stuff around the basket. He rebounds for us. He gets deflections for us. Right now, he plays at the top of our 1-3-1 zone. We need him to play more because he can score, and we need to score.
5 minutes left in the game, you fall behind by 11. Again, you wonder, not tonight. You come back with a 10-1 run to cut the lead to 2 with less than 3 minutes left.
It's kind of who this group has been. Amazingly resilient. They just keep playing. They just keep fighting. Really proud of them. We just, again, like NC State, couldn't get the offensive execution or possessions we needed to tie it or take the lead. There is where we're coming up short right now.
So typical of the series, it ends up being a 2-point final. You lose 63-61. And we talked about how good the defense has been, but consistent play for 40 minutes on both ends of the floor has been tough to achieve so far.
Hard for us to find, no question about it. And we're in search of that. And it doesn't get any easier with the two teams coming to town this weekend.
So, folks, when we come back, we'll talk to you about an initiative here in the Notre Dame Athletic Department by the Notre Dame men's and women's basketball programs, the hockey program, to help federal workers right now who are struggling without paychecks. Coach and folks, as you know, there's a group of folks in this country who work very hard every day who are struggling despite the fact that they have jobs because they're not being paid right now. That's federal workers. And the athletic department has recognized that. The Notre Dame men's and women's basketball programs, the hockey programs have come together to come up with a program that will provide any federal worker with a federal ID 4 tickets to 2 upcoming games in each sports, plus food vouchers to just try to relieve the stress and give these folks a little bit of hope as they hope they get paid one of these days.
Well, just a fabulous initiative and idea by Muffet McGraw. She got the ball rolling with this, and our whole department has obviously chimed in with it. And you're right. I mean, you can feel the tension in our nation with this government shutdown. Hopefully we get it solved quick. In the meantime, anything we can do to help is a good thing.
The Virginia and Duke games for the men's program are sold out, but federal workers with an ID can arrive at Purcell Pavilion 2 hours before game time to get 4 tickets to the Georgia Tech game on February 10th and the Wake Forest game on February 19th. The women's basketball team is offering tickets to their upcoming home games with Georgia Tech on February 3rd and Duke on February 21st. The hockey program offered tickets to the Michigan State game this past week and the upcoming game with Michigan on February 12th. This offer will be honored even if, as we all hope, the government shutdown ends before the games are played. Earlier this season, Notre Dame freshman guard Robbie Carmody became the first Irish freshman to start the first game of the season in 16 years. Unfortunately, Robbie was lost for the season following December shoulder surgery, but he is still around at every practice and today has the honor of firing the fast break questions to fellow freshman Nate Leshesky.
Welcome to the Notre Dame Men's Basketball Fast Break Players Edition. I'm Robbie Carmody. I'll be interviewing my fellow freshman, Nate Leshesky. What is your favorite food?
Pizza.
Pizza. Any toppings?
Pepperoni.
Celebrity crush?
Scarlett Johansson.
Best Fortnite player?
Myself.
Worst Fortnite player?
Nick Jogo.
Favorite Game of Thrones character?
Tyrion.
Dream 3-on-3 team?
Myself. Robbie, yourself, and Chris Doherty.
Favorite movie?
The Blind Side.
Favorite actor?
Ben Affleck.
Favorite actress?
Scarlett Johansson.
Favorite musical artist?
Drake.
Who's the best dancer on the team?
Myself.
Worst dancer on the team?
You.
Best singer on the team?
Myself.
Worst singer on the team?
John Mooney.
Favorite Coach Hump line?
Seriously?
Favorite Coach Balanis line?
That's us.
What's your favorite spot on campus?
The Morrison.
Who's the best defender on the team?
P-Hub.
Best shooter?
Myself.
Who's the smartest on the team?
Liam Nelligan.
Funniest?
Chris.
Who's the fastest?
Myself.
That's all we have for you today.
It's time now for the experts at TireRack.com question of the week for Coach Bray. This week's question comes from Austin Gall of Wakarusa, Indiana. Coach, what are the steps in building confidence in the young players to take open shots instead of passing off the ball?
Well, you got to stay on him with Leshevsky and with Goodwin. I have actually stopped practice when they've turned down a shot and asked the rest of the team, should they take it? And when TJ Gibbs and Johnny Mooney and the rest of the guys go, yeah, they have to take it, that's stronger than me saying you have to take it. We're getting there. They're starting to be more aggressive offensively with the help of the older guys.
All right, recruits out there, wouldn't you want to play for a guy that yells at you when you don't take a shot? That's your system. If it's an open shot, take it.
And especially those two guys. You know, they're both shooting a pretty darn good percentage from the three-point line. And more importantly than just open shots, they have got to look to score for us. We need them to score to help our offense.
When the season started, the roster was loaded, especially with big men, so the plan was to give freshman forward Chris Doherty a year to adjust to college basketball and then 4 years to play meaningful minutes for the Irish. But 17 games into this season, with Jawan Durham, the latest Notre Dame player, to be lost for an extended period of time, Doherty enthusiastically accepted Coach Brey's request to shed his red shirt and immediately gave the Irish a spark against North Carolina State, with 3 rebounds, a steal, and a block in 6 minutes of action. Playing time that included this week's Notre Dame Ticket Exchange, powered by Vivid Seats, Play of the Week. But there for the rebound is Daniels. Shot blocked by Doherty. Taken away by Doherty. Quick out to Jogo. Ahead to Goodwin. He lays it up and in. And Notre Dame's back to within 2. That is sparked by the freshman playing his first game, Chris Doherty.
And that has to feel good, Jack. The fans, I think he's already a fan favorite, getting these guys involved in a great finish by Dan Goodwin at the end, contorting his body and using the English as well.
Good defense leads to good offense on the fast break. Great defense by the Irish.
Your team's struggling to score right now. You're 1-5 in the conference, and this weekend, in the space of 3 days, the number 2 and the number 3 teams in the country come to Purcell Pavilion. I think it may be the biggest challenge your program has faced since you got here 19 seasons ago.
Absolutely. You know, I don't know if we've ever had a weekend like this or a couple-day stretch with these kind of teams coming in the history of our basketball program. And we have got a young team that is trying to find itself. So an amazing challenge. Again, as I talked to him when we got back from Atlanta, hey man, we've got nothing to lose. We are going to go after it, but boy, are we going to have to be better and tougher in these 2 games.
Can you hang your hat on the fact that you're doing so many of the difficult things well? You recruited good shooters. If you just shoot it a little bit better, you're going to be competitive with anybody. You'd have a couple more wins right now.
Yeah, I think that's something, and you know, you try not to overanalyze shooting because you don't want guys thinking too much, but we have incorporated it more into our practice shooting reps, and again, we want guys to take open looks. They must take it. They cannot turn it down. And once you have one good shooting night as a group, sometimes you can roll with that and it jumpstarts you.
So it's 3rd-ranked Virginia on Saturday afternoon, 2nd-ranked Duke on Monday night. We'll have all the highlights on the next edition of Inside Notre Dame Basketball. Until then, for Coach Brey, I'm Jack Nolan. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, go Irish.
Inside Notre Dame Basketball is presented by TireRack.com and brought to you by Team Notre Dame partners, Coca-Cola, Under Armour, and Gatorade. Inside Notre Dame Basketball is also brought to you by Vivid Seats, Canon, Xfinity, Nissan, Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, and SiriusXM.